So in this position, I can't help notice, but black's king is about to escape danger with king to c3 and to b4, another postulate king walk. What's one of the best ways to stop a postulate, Elijah?
Counterpostulate, obviously.
Exactly. King to b2, preventing king c3. Now, with our king doing all the heavy lifting, we allow our queen and our rook to both be decisive attackers.
White would be completely winning here with a mating attack if black did not have a very strong postulate in response.
Queen to g4, trying to trade off the queens, getting out of checkmate threats. We go queen to d2 check.
We would have liked to have rook e1 earlier, preventing the king postulate rook e4, but unfortunately black was just too accurate.
Exactly. Unfortunately, he does have this by force, so after king to e4, rook e1 check, king f5, queen takes d6, queen d4. Black is able to trade off the queens and barely hold on. However, white has the advantage and is playing for the win. So in this position, black is attacking both our queen on c3 and our bishop on f1. If we try to trade off queens, black has a really strong passed a pawn, which proves to be very difficult for two minor pieces to stop. Now, Alekhine, playing white here, understands not to trade off pieces whenever you're winning. Instead of defending the queen or defending the bishop, he ignores both and postulates his king to g2. Now, if queen takes c3, we have bishop e2 checkmate. If he takes the bishop, we postulate the king again to h3, attacking black's kings directly. Now, black has to try to escape, but he cannot. After g5, g4 check, king g6, knight to e5, white has a mating pattern with both the knight and the queen, and went on to win.
As Steinitz would say, the king is an attacking piece, use it. White could have instead of king g2 played queen d3, which gives white the advantage, but of course Alekhine was far stronger than that.
Exactly. This is a blindfold match between Judit Polgar and Topalov. And even when blindfolds are on, grandmasters know how to postulate their king. Several moves ago, white had to calculate very precisely because she is down a piece. However, after finding the genius king to c6 several moves in advance, black is out of squares and will soon be checkmated by the unavoidable rook a7 to a8.
White's rook is hanging, white's knight is hanging, white's king is on g3. You know, the usual. But what do? We hang our knight with check as well as our rook. We need to attack with our king, of course, and now we're threatening queen f8 checkmate. The king g5 is no longer possible. This was a game of Morozevich several years ago, and white could have gone for this, but failed to find the final finishing blow, king h4, and instead took a draw. Queen takes d4 would be met with g4, and there is the unstoppable checkmate.
You know what they say, Elijah? The king postulate often prepares the pawn postulate.